So, I have now played a solid 3 hours of this game, and I think that gives me a decent opportunity to go ahead and give my initial thoughts on the game so far. So, just to remind you guys, I have not played this game since like 2015 in earnest. I've played it a little bit here and there to get a little bit of footage or like to try out and say like, oh, those controls are bad. But I haven't played it in earnest since I first bought the game in like, I guess 2015-ish, 2014. The game came out in 2014, but I don't remember exactly when I bought it. Regardless, that's the last time I really sat down and tried to play this game and be critical of it. And I gotta say, like, the first world and a half or so, I'm having a lot of fun. The level design is actually pretty tight. The levels are, pretty short, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, which is a relief after playing Yoshi's Island DS, where the levels can take you 15 to 20 minutes on the earlier stages, and if you're trying to 100% complete them, you better pack a lunch. Yeah, that's refreshing for this game. I'm glad they went back to the shorter level design. It's not been too hard to find all the collectibles. There's been a couple of stages I've struggled, and this last one in particular, World 2-3, I'm missing the one red coin. I don't know where it is, and that's kind of annoying, but I'm not having too much of a problem with the level design so far. I think it's pretty solid. It does the whole Nintendo thing of introducing a mechanic early in the level and like compounding on it. It doesn't seem to compound on it as much as some other games, like Yoshi's Woolly World, for example. But it does a decent job of that. The game's not overly hard. It's honestly pretty easy so far, but I'm only like, maybe 15 to 20% of the way through the game so far. It's got 6 worlds with 9 levels apiece. I've got a ways to go, but it's not very hard so far. Not a big fan of the art style. It's not like it's horrendous or anything. The backgrounds and the levels themselves, like, they're fine artistically, but I'm really not a fan of how the characters look. They're very polygonal, and I feel like that might have been cleaned up on the 3DS a little bit, but not much. Like, the 240p screen kind of like, I don't know, it's more pixelated, so I guess it's kind of harder to tell, I guess, that the characters and all the character models are more polygonal. But when you play it in an emulator at 960p, boy, things look blocky, and that throws me off quite a bit. Also, Yoshi's hands and even Baby Mario's hands, they're basically wearing boxing gloves. I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't. The music is the biggest thing that I was not looking forward to revisiting, and it's really not been as bad as I remember. There are some garbage tracks, like Yoshi Clan, for example. Oh, Yoshi Clan just makes me cry inside. It's just not... Oh, man. Who decided that kazoos should be the primary instrument for some of these tracks? I want to know who. And I want to know if they still have their job. And if they do, why? I mean, that's a little harsh, but boy, that music sucks. But the rest of the music in the game it's not bad. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's great. I'd say it's pretty good. And honestly, if the instruments that they used weren't just children's instruments like recorders and that sort of thing, I think that the soundtrack would actually be pretty good. Like, not great, but good at the very least. Like, I don't have a problem with the main melody. It's mostly just the instruments that are played that really give it that more childish feeling, and in some cases just straight up nails on a chalkboard sound quality. Oof, not good in those instances, but overall the music really isn't as big of a sticking point as I thought. I guess the last thing I really want to discuss, well, I guess there's 2 more things. The first thing I want to discuss is the controls. Not terrible. I should probably note that Again, I'm playing on a Citra emulator. I do own the game, but I don't have a way to record and stream it, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm playing with a Switch Pro controller in the Citra emulator, and that's a pretty good approximation. That's a pretty good approximation of what the 3DS experience will be like, because it has pretty much the same number of buttons and everything. Like, it has the joystick and the D-pad. Like, you have your option as to whether or not you want to use that. It's got the face buttons and the shoulder buttons back here. It's gonna be a pretty similar experience. The Switch controller in Citra actually even supports gyro, so that's pretty great. I thought I remembered the controls being more slippery than they are. There's a couple of things that make it feel more slippery. I don't think that the joystick integration is perfect. I feel like the joystick integration is such that you don't come to a complete stop when you take your thumb off the joystick. Like you kind of come to a slow stop. And that same thing applies with the D-pad, but I feel like it's worse with the joystick. You kind of just come to a more gradual stop than other Yoshi games, I feel. That's part of where the weird momentum comes in. The flutter jumping also seems a little weird. But the biggest contender for, like, weird momentum is the egg throwing. If you're just standing in one spot and you're throwing the egg, Yoshi does kind of a weird wind-up thing, where it takes, like, half a second for Yoshi to get ready to throw the egg. Whereas most other Yoshi games, if not all of them, the egg throwing, as soon as you hit the button, he's in throwing mode. He's ready to go. And that same thing applies here, like when you're flutter jumping and when you're walking or running or whatever. If you're moving, Yoshi doesn't have that weird wind-up time for the egg throwing. And that's good, but why is there that wind-up time? I think that definitely doesn't help things with how weird the momentum can be. Like, that kind of adds to that perception. Like, Yoshi has more inertia in this game. Inertia being, like, loosely speaking, the amount of energy it takes to move an object or to change its velocity. That's not strictly the definition of inertia, but you kind of get the point. It's like how much force it takes to get something to change its course of movement. And like in the case of Yoshi, it feels like it takes him longer to get moving, and it takes him longer to stop. That's having more inertia. That's kind of just how the controls feel in this game, but it's not as bad as I remember. I really like that this game introduced the whole not having to get everything in one go sort of aspect. You know, the quality of life change that they added to Yoshi's Woolly World, where it remembers every collectible you got in the stage. Like, every coin/gem, every smiley flower, every bundle of yarn. And, like, if you missed any one of those things, in order to 100% complete the level on your second try, you just have to get those specific things that you missed. Yoshi's New Island was, you know, the starting point for that, but it did it by category. Like, if you didn't get all of the red coins in the level, for example, like if you got full health and all of the smiley flowers, but you missed one red coin, in order to 100% complete the level, you have to, on your second playthrough, get all of the red coins. So, it's not as well integrated as Woolly World and Crafted World, but it's a step in the right direction, and I will say, it definitely is an improvement over Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Island DS. I'll admit, going back to Island DS, trying to 100% complete them, especially DS, if you miss something in the level, it's kind of a pain to go back and like re-100% complete the level to really, you know, complete it. Yoshi's New Island is at least a little better than that. And the gold medals, I'm not a big fan of the gold medals. In practically every other Yoshi game, when you get that, you know, that flower at the end goal, Crafted World, Yoshi's Story, and Yoshi Topsy Turvy don't have that sort of thing going on. Yoshi Topsy Turvy kind of does, but that's different. With Yoshi's Island DS, and Yoshi's Woolly World, when you go through that end ring and pick up a flower, you get a minigame. With Yoshi's New Island, you get gold medals if you pick up that flower at the end. And picking up 30 gold medals per world unlocks the transformation challenges, which that's kind of a cool reward, but that's kind of a dumb way to unlock them, because if you need 30 gold medals, mind you, you don't get gold medals on worlds 4 and 8 per world. So you have 6 levels to collect those gold medals. And in order to get all of the gold medals, if you want to do that without replaying any of the levels, you have to collect all 5 smiley flowers and then get the gold medal every single time, or get the smiley flower at the end of the stage every time, in order to have a chance at not having to replay the levels to get all the gold medals. That's like a 50% chance. It's left up to random chance and luck whether or not you'll have to replay the stage just to get more gold medals to unlock that challenge. And so far in my experience, I've had to replay the levels anyway, and that does give me some more chances to get the gold medals, but it's still dumb. I don't like that. Maybe if it were like 20 gold medals, that'd be something, but as it stands right now, I'm not a big fan of it. Revisiting Yoshi's Island, or Yoshi's New Island rather, I've actually enjoyed myself more than I thought I would. I thought I was gonna be loathing a lot of this experience, and I definitely don't think it's as good as Yoshi's Island already. I probably don't think it's as good as Yoshi's Island DS, but I'll have to wait until the end of the game to really, figure that out. It trades blows with the Yoshi's Island DS. I will say that for now. So, yeah, that's it so far. I'm enjoying myself. I look forward to playing more and, really developing some more complete, more coherent, and more critical thoughts of this game. So, I'm going to keep playing it over the next few weeks on live stream, and I'm going to keep an open mind and try to really give the game a chance. Give it the chance that it deserves. And, yeah, we'll see where that goes. So, yeah, stay tuned for, a full, complete sort of thought as far as Yoshi's Island, or Yoshi's New Island. Once I finish the game, I'll be sure to let you know my overall thoughts, and if I think that the game is better than I remember. So, yeah, there you go. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. Just so you know, this sort of video isn't a replacement for my normal scripted content, my normal Yoshi Fanatic videos. It's just, I thought, I have these sorts of conversations and discussions on live stream all the time, and I figured, hey, maybe they'd make a decent little video every once in a while, so thought I'd test out the waters with this one. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like to see more videos like this. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and, yeah, thanks again for checking out the video, so hopefully we'll see you again next time. See you guys.